Welcome to the Clear Voice Podcast, brought to you by Clear Career Professionals. I'm your host, James Groom. This week, we'll be talking about a leadership opportunity for the fire chief in Levelland, Texas. With us is the Clear President Michael Boese. Welcome to the show, Michael.
Thanks for having me, James. I'm really excited to talk about this particular position for Levelland. We've been able to have an interim that works through our company serving the community for a little while, and she's able to join the position podcast here. Patty, I'll let you introduce yourself more in a minute. Patty Faulkner has a long, distinguished career in the fire service and is a fire leader, and she's been serving as interim. So I know we're going to get some really great insight about the department and the community from her. And then always honored to have James Fisher jump on the Position podcast. Many folks in the city management world know James and his legacy of serving communities and all the impact he has had, particularly here in the state of Texas. And so leading this recruitment for the fire chief position is something we're really excited about. We're really going to highlight Levelland and talk about the community. James, I'm going to start with you. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been out there in Levelland.
Well, good morning, and thank you for this opportunity. I am completing my second year here in Levelland. I've been in this business for over 35 years. Came here a couple of years ago, and it's a great community. It's great opportunities. We're just outside of Lubbock, and Lubbock is growing. And so there's just a lot of exciting opportunities here. And probably one of the funnest things is that the city will be celebrating its centennial in April of 26. And then 1 year behind that, our fire department will be celebrating its centennial as well in 2027.
Well, that's great. And Patty, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been out there serving as an interim for Levelland?
Well, I'm Patty Faulkner. I've been out here for a little over a year. I love it here. This is a great place.
Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that. We're interested in learning more about Levelland in the Texas area and know that it's next to Lubbock. But other than that, really tell us about the community. And I don't know if James or Patty, whoever wants to go first, but what would draw somebody, to the community itself? Why would they want to move up there? What's going on that would really highlight this position?
I love this community because it's such a family oriented. Most of the guys here came from this area, so they know everybody already. The community supports the fire department. The city council supports the fire department. My city manager supports the fire department, and we get along great with the police department, which this is a unicorn of a city. I love that it's so close to Lubbock that you can go do, dinner, or not that I date, but you could do date night if you wanted to. We have culture here. We just opened up the Wallace Theater here. And so we're having a lot of concerts that are fixing to start coming here. If I go to the store with the guys, they're hugging people all the way through the store. The cost of living isn't as high as it is in Lubbock. So you can get a great house here. You can get some land here. And so you're outside of the big city, Lubbock, but you still have those amenities that you can go to. And it's family here. The whole fire department's family. It's not just what they are out in the community. It's what they're here. And you can't beat that anywhere.
Yeah. And James, I know you've had the opportunity to serve in several communities in Texas. Can you talk a little bit about what you've discovered out there?
I think the easiest way for me in summarizing this community, in May of 24, we were hit with 130 mile an hour straight line winds and did a lot of damage within our community. That came in at about 1:17 in the morning. By 8 o'clock that next morning, I had over 200 volunteers standing outside the fire department wanting to know how they could help, where they could help, those kind of things. We ended up with a little over 3,000 volunteer hours. The oil companies that are based here in Levelland pretty much pulled their crews in from the field to help our community get back up on their feet. Everywhere you looked, people were asking where they could help in various things, from manual labor to donating money to providing food. We always talk about in communities when disasters happen, how everybody rallies together. Well, I've been in my share, and I've never seen one like this, where just everybody came out in the middle of the night and first thing in the morning, and they rolled up their sleeves. It didn't matter what you did, where you're at, they were doing it. The one thing that I've never seen, and I really hope I never see again, and Patty will throw something at me the next time she sees me. But, our fire station got some damage where our emergency ops center was. And as I'm working with our emergency management coordinator, I look down the hallway and I see the mayor with a mop in her hand, mopping up the floor and taking care of things. That's the kind of people we have in our community. They will do whatever it takes to take care of the community and to take care of the people. As Patty said in her introduction, we've got a great council. Our council is very positive, very progressive. They're very solution-oriented. They want to make this community even better than it is today, and they're committed to doing that. This year's budget was very positive. They approved several increases so we can continue to move the city forward. They believe in this community, and they're putting their actions where their mouth is. They're not just saying things, they're actually approving things and giving support necessary to continue to move us forward.
And if I can interrupt on the city council issue, when we were doing our budget meetings, I've never been in budget meetings with council people that they actually asked questions, that they actually thought it through. You could see the stress on their face as they're trying to balance out the needs versus what they have. And it was so refreshing. I'm fixing to cry. It's so refreshing to see a city council that actually cares about the city and cares about those departments and they feel responsible for taking care of things. That was so refreshing to me. I've never seen that in any of the cities I've worked for.
That's the kind of community that everybody wants to work inside of. Let's talk internal, though. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the city's culture, day-to-day? How's the collaboration, the accountability, and innovation? How does that show up across the city organization and inside the fire department specifically?
Since I've been here, and anytime you get a new city manager, you get cultural shifts because there's a different way of doing things. And to be completely honest, we've had some changes within our leadership team. In my 2 years here, the assistant city manager left. We've had 2 or 3 in the leadership team that have changed and moved on. The assistant city manager left for a better opportunity. Police chief retired. A couple of other positions were open when I came here, and we've gotten those filled. But more importantly, the council established a revised vision in November of 24 for Levelland to be the preferred city in the South Plains, that when people look at moving to the South Plains, Levelland is their first choice. So we have embraced that. We are continuing to do things to make our community better. And with that was they wanted to make a significant investment into the west part of town. As Levelland grew, it grew away from the west side. And so it's gotten kind of run down. This year's budget is we've put almost $700,000 back into the west side of town, into the park that's over there and other things. So how does that transform down into the organization? I've asked the employees to be solution-oriented, to be focused on attentively listening to what the people are asking and then find a solution. We may not be able to do everything that everybody's asking, but listen to them, to what they're really asking for. And if we can find a solution, let's find it. Sometimes we need to relook at our policies that haven't been looked at in 10 years. That's the way we've always done it. I'm really trying to bury this is the way we've always done it. But you face that in every community. But we've got employees that are embracing this change, that are looking out for each other. We've had some employees that have had some medical issues, and our employees have rallied either with donating vacation and sick hours. Some have even donated personal funds to help cover things. We're creating an area where it's not just the word, we are a family. We're actually moving that way to where we take care of people without anybody even asking. And that's also moving out into the community of where people are just trying to do the right thing. And it may not be something that we allow, but what I've tried to tell them is make a decision. And if it's wrong, we'll fix it. If it's right, then let's keep moving. Let's take care of our customers, our citizens, and our guests, and give them the best experience that we can as a city. Do we stump our toes occasionally? Absolutely. But I would much rather stump my toe trying than sit there and not have any, do anything. So we've got a good group of people. I wish I could keep my interim, but I know her roots are a little bit further east, and that's okay. She has left a great mark, a great place for our new chief to come in and follow. And she's also helped develop that culture within our fire department and making sure that those folks over there are exceptional in every way. And I think they're doing that. And it's just a great opportunity for someone to come in and not only learn from us about how we do things, but also we can learn from them of being a true servant leader and always thinking of others, always trying your best to do the right thing, but more importantly, being solution oriented in our approach on how we take care of folks. Look for ways to take care of people.
Again, I love this city. I love that it still has that small town feel, even though we are getting in new businesses and it is growing, but we're not losing that family atmosphere with the city. And we're extremely lucky that we have the support of the city that we do. I asked the other day about going to a training, and I was asked, would this benefit anybody else in our department? And so we're taking 3 more. They're not shy on doing any training. I think that this is a progressive city. I think that James has done a great job of giving people their head and letting them lead. He's not a micromanager by any means, and that's refreshing. It bleeds over into the fire department because they're not having to look at their back all the time and wondering who's trying to take them down or who's trying to stab them in the back. And because of that, they have embraced everything that I've tried to bring into the fire department. I mean, now we have 10 people on staff. We've got 3 part-timers, and we've got the 6th one going through inspector school. And I'm not making them do that. That's something that they wanted to do. And now they're fixing to add on plans examiner because that is a need for the city. We haven't done a lot of inspections that we should have. And now we're out there blitzing the city. And while they don't understand because it's never been done, they're very good about explaining about how it's trying to keep them safe as well as us safe, and that we're not there to shut them down. I mean, we're not coming in with a hammer. We're just trying to take care of things. We have got people training on, well, they're going out to get their wildland now. I mean, they're just doing training that they don't have to do, and that's amazing to me. Their desire to grow, their acknowledgement that this city wants to benefit the employee, not just the city. And again, that's rare. I mean, I worked in Dallas and that they didn't care. I mean, they didn't care. I mean, I love Dallas, don't get me wrong, but it's not the same atmosphere. And I don't think you're going to get that anywhere else. This is West Texas friendly, but they try to put all of that back into the employee, because without the employee, you don't have a city.
Patty, you briefly touched on this on the operations side for somebody who may be looking at this opportunity. Can you kind of give us a little bit more information about like call volume, regional teamwork? You have volunteers, equipment, all those kind of things that somebody looking for a position would want to know before they applied.
Okay, you may have to refresh me on some of that because that was an awful lot of stuff. So we have 10 people on staff. There's me, and then I've got 3 per shift, 1 captain, 2 firefighters. We're putting on part-time people during the week so that we're getting 4 around. I have 16 pieces of equipment. We were averaging 400 calls a year. I think we're planning on 600 this year because we're adding in those inspections as well. This is also a light year. We didn't have the grass fires that we typically have. We didn't have a lot of the stuff this year. Well, I'm a white cloud, so that kind of explains everything. Volunteers, we have room for 26 volunteers. We do have 16 right now, and they're all active. They also, in fact, they're doing live burns on Saturday, so they're also active in training as well. They do fundraisers for them, and with those fundraisers, they also do things that can benefit the fire department as well. They're still working on adding on people. We've got a SAFER grant out. Hopefully we'll get it. Cross your fingers to put another person around on each shift, and that way we would have 4 around, and then the volunteer that we could also utilize when we can, not the volunteer, but the paid part-time where we can.
So let me jump in and add, one of the unique things about Levelland is we are the county seat and we are the only paid department in Hockley County. So we have a big service area. It depends which map you look at. It depends how you calculate it. We have almost, I think it's about a 900 square mile response area. So it is a huge responsibility, but it's also one that we take very seriously, that we are a regional leader out in this area, and there's a lot of growth and opportunity for our department to shine even more than it does. As Patty mentioned, this Saturday we're doing a regional training out at our fire training field, and we've got, I think, 4 different volunteer agencies coming in to participate, to learn from, and just to build those relationships as well. We are blessed when we have any type of incident, and we reciprocate that anytime we have an incident in town, most of our neighboring agencies are responding to help us, most of the time without us even asking. They hear the call, they know the type of call, they know that we've got paid guys, and they know we have volunteers, but they also realize, our volunteers nowadays, and it doesn't matter where you're at in this country, it's hard to get some of them to get loose from work. I remember the days I was a volunteer firefighter back in the dark ages. Employers used to allow people, hey, you got a call, you go. Don't worry about it. They're not that quite accommodating anymore. We are very fortunate that we have a lot of cities around us, the smaller towns that respond and offer assistance. And we do likewise. We go out and we help them as much as we can. Patty mentioned the equipment. I will tell you, one of the items that we've been discussing, and we're trying to figure out how to move forward with it. But since I've come on board 2 years ago, and this has been a discussion even prior to that we need to replace our ladder truck. But in order to do that, we have to increase the number of paid personnel on our department. We've been looking at that. Patty mentioned the SAFER grant. We're looking at that idea of, can we do that? And then how do we sustain that once we get those folks on board? So we're looking forward in everything we're doing with our fire department, but completely candid, we're like every other city out there. You got financial challenges, but our council is committed to work through every one of those challenges to help us find ways to tackle them.
Even if it's little bites at a time, they are doing what we need to get done. Like, we just got 10 new radios because we found out that some of our radios aren't reaching where they need to do. 10 may not seem like a whole lot, but it was a whole lot of money. And so if we can, just add on to that a little at a time, we can change out all our radios through attrition. And they've been supportive on that.
From both of your perspectives, what kind of leader is going to thrive in this position, and, kind of think about their leadership style, their values, and maybe the way they would build trust with both career and volunteer firefighters?
Absolutely not a micromanager. These guys are great on their own. They think outside the box. They've worked on their own for such a long time, and you have to allow them to have healthy discussions. I'm not the smartest one in the room, and I don't have all the answers, but we do. And I encourage them, if I'm doing something wrong, I want them to tell me, and if they're doing something wrong, then I tell them, but nobody stays mad at anybody because we have developed that family atmosphere. You're going to argue. You're not going to agree all the time, but they have to allow that discourse. It can't be the my way or the highway, especially if you're not from this area. Because I came into this where we've always had, little bumblebee grass trucks that, you get in there and you attack it and you get out. But we're also not looking at 12,000 acre grass fires. And so when I got here, we have these big behemoth grass trucks, but that's what they need for out there because they have no water. I mean, we've got 900 square miles without any hydrants, except for here in the city. You have to come in and know that this place is different, and you're going to have to learn this department and this area. So no micromanaging. You can't do that. And you can't do it from behind your desk at all.
I guess to follow up with Patty on that, and she's mentioning, micromanaging, and I want my department heads to lead, but I also believe in accountability. And I know sometimes when you throw that out there, people panic and they run and they think that's micromanaging. I want a leader who will help my fire department go to the next level. I want somebody that will empower the team out there to be even better than they are today, but not just fire department. The fire chief is a key member of the city's leadership team. They have to be one of those folks that not only inspires Levelland Fire, but inspires the whole organization of city employees and inspires younger people to want to be into public service, whether it's fire, whether it's police, whether it's a guy working in the water department. We're all in this together. And I want a leader that if they see something that needs to be done, to be able to go, I'm going to take care of this, and not say, that's not my department. This needs to be handled and we're going to handle it, and not be territorial. Small towns, we all work together. We can't say, well, that's a water department issue or that's a wastewater issue. We're in this thing together. And if we need to get out and block traffic due to a major water leak, or even help because we've got several water leaks going on or several other things going on, that they're not afraid to jump in and do whatever is necessary to continue to help our organization be successful, because we are here to serve our citizens. We are here to make their daily lives better. There's no time for titles in that. You've got to be willing to do whatever is necessary to ensure that our team succeeds. That gets us to be the preferred city of the South Plains, where we're not worried about departments. We're not worried about titles. We do whatever is necessary. Now, I will tell you, I cause great heartache when the organization, when I start doing manual labor. They get very upset when they see me doing things. Earlier this week, I was chopping weeds, and the public works guys about had a coronary, and they showed up and saw me out there doing that. But it had to be done, and I'm not bragging on myself. It needed to be done because the contractor we had was like, I'm leaving because the weeds are in the way, and it was going to take my guys 10 minutes to get there. So make it happen.
I don't think I've ever acknowledged and realized, but there is no boundaries on any of the departments in this city. And he's exactly right on that. I don't think I've fully acknowledged that. And that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Hey, one of the things that I didn't tell you, we're also the rope rescue team for 13 counties out here as well. So that's also going to be something I'd like to start, or the new chief to start working on and getting that back on track too.
Well, as we talk about relaunching this position and begin accepting candidates here shortly, Patty, I know that the question's going to be out there. Is the current interim going to apply? You don't necessarily have to speak too much to this, but I know you have other family obligations, and that this is, an interim role for you. And as good of you as you've done in this position, you're very supportive of handing the position of servant leader off to somebody else who, is selected by the city.
I love this department, and if I could stay, I would. But my husband has a year and a half, 2 years left before he retires, and he has supported me. I think it's time for me to honor him by traveling, because that's what he wants to do, and we can't do that. He's 10 years older than me, and it's going to be difficult to do if we don't start doing some of that now. Otherwise, I would stay here. I love this department. I love the city. I would stay, but I think that whoever comes into this role is going to be exceedingly lucky, because that family dynamic's already here. The education level is already here. There's not going to be a whole lot of things that they're going to have to change or work on. All chiefs are going to be changing some things, but it's not like you're going to have to come in here and build a fire department from the ground up and change, everything. The culture's here. All you have to do is point them in a direction and tell them go, and they do. They need the ideas. They need to know somebody's behind them. They need to know that they're respected, that they're loved, and they will do anything for you. This is, again, a unicorn. I just love them.
All right. And, as we wrap up the position podcast here in the next few minutes, James, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about, as candidates see this posting go out, this will be the third time we're posting the position. And as a recruiting company on this, we have had really good candidates come through, but in our previous two postings, we just haven't found that right fit for the city of Levelland yet. And so can you speak to that a little bit, and, anything that you think would be maybe pushing candidates away that you want to assuage their worry?
I will be happy to address that, and I hope I don't step on any toes on this, but I think any candidate needs to realize that this is not the Metroplex. This is not Austin. This is not Houston. those places you can demand the higher salaries. West Texas is different. We've had great candidates, and to be completely candid and honest, the thing that has thrown this for a curve each time has been the salary request of the candidates. They were great individuals, but when we put together the brochure with Clear and Michael's leadership, we've listed a starting salary around $100,000. We're willing to be flexible through that. We know that's a number to start with, but we also, and somebody that's been in this business for a while, there's always salary numbers listed, and they're always negotiable, but they're not negotiable 20, 30% and even higher. Cost of living, you could argue that, is it comparable to other places? It depends on the type of house you buy. It depends on where you live, all of those kind of things. And that's another thing. We've had candidates that are like, well, we want to live in Lubbock. You're the fire chief of Levelland. You need to live in the city. And we've even given flexibility that if you live close to the city limits, we will work with you. Some people want a ranch and want to have goats or horses or other weird critters around. This is an excellent opportunity, but you've got to understand that this is West Texas, and the salaries aren't going to be what you see in the major markets. They're going to be a good number. As I said, 100,000s of numbers, but we're willing to work with that. We're willing to have discussions about that, but those discussions have to be reasonable as well. You can't come in and ask for the moon. And I will tell you as well, the council understands the salary structures. We've been looking at those since I've come here. We made adjustments last year to the police department's salaries. We're doing a salary study right now for the fire department to see what we need to be doing to make adjustments there, if any. But again, we also have responsibilities to other employees within the organization that we have to take care of them as well, because we are all in this thing together. If my water guys don't have good water to a fire hydrant, you're not going to be able to put out the fire and do your job. We're a team. We're all in this together. It's a great place. You get a lot of opportunities here to grow. We haven't mentioned this, I don't think at all on this podcast, but Levelland's also the home to South Plains College, which is a great 2-year place. A lot of opportunities. And there, to me, there's even an opportunity. South Plains has a fire academy. It's mainly in Lubbock. I think there's a way with the right chief that we could eventually get that back to our home territory and use that as a recruiting base for us as well. There are a lot of great opportunities here. There's a lot of abilities to grow and really leave your mark upon the community, leave your fingerprints here that you can come back someday with your kids and say, I was a part of this. I was the one that helped make this happen, and look where it is today.
Yeah. And, for those who may be listening, James, early in my career had applied to work for James as a chief of police. And, I've done a lot of research on James. And one of the reasons I originally had applied, years ago to work with him was his knowledge of municipal government and just his passion for leadership and service. And while I wasn't, able to make that cut, I've always looked up to James as a mentor. And, I think we did the chief of police recruitment for Levelland, I think probably almost a year and a half or so ago. And that chief has been extremely successful at that organization. I know that she is continuing to learn from James and continue to grow in her position. But we're really excited to be partnered with Levelland on this. And it's such a beautiful community. I love flying out to Lubbock with the airport there. It's not too far from Levelland. And that community sense that you get when you're just in the South Plains region is exactly what James and Patty have been talking about. As we open this position, people can apply through sending their cover letter and resume to apply Levelland at clearcareerpro.com. And I'm always available to talk to any candidate that has more questions. And certainly you can direct them to Patty, who has been serving as an interim there if they've got more substantive questions about the fire department. But we're excited to kick off this recruitment for the community.
One of the best things about Levelland, you can come out here and you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. So it's a good spot to be.
James and Patty, can you tell us if a strong candidate did call and was kind of on the fence about whether to apply? What would be your message to them about why this moment and this city and this department would be the right step for them?
Family. This whole city is family. The fire department's family. You can't do anything without the trust of your people, and you can't get that unless you're family. We have a bonus. We don't run EMS too, so there's that. All fire departments live for that. But this is the opportunity to grow your people, the opportunity to grow yourself, the opportunity to have a community that you can. They've never treated me like an outsider. I'm one of them. You don't get that anywhere else. You don't get that in North Texas. You don't get that in, Central Texas. You're an outsider for, 5 years if you even make that long, but people embrace you here. This is just, again, a unicorn of a city. I just love it.
I think the easiest answer is that we all get into public service because of our wanting to serve others and to make lives better. In Levelland, you have that opportunity here. You can make a difference from day one. You can make an impact from day one, and you'll find a community that embraces you wholeheartedly from day one.
James and Patty, thank you for sharing about this role. We're really excited to see it relaunch. Michael, before we get off here, is there anything you'd like to wrap up with?
No, we appreciate, again, doing this recruitment for the city of Levelland, and we're excited to see all of the candidates come in and compete for this position, and excited to see how they can take the fire department to the next level.
If you need more information, definitely check out our website or follow us on LinkedIn, and we'll catch you next time.